cryo heat, so that's a process by which you can send your transmission out, especially these transmissions that are getting hard.
Aquí no sé el presupuesto que habrá invertido el tío, pero ahí no ha escatimado, tío. Está todo canela, Venga, vamos a ver esto. La última cagua que ha hecho el compañero de MXRevival, ¿vale? Greenland. Y lo suben en Deep Bike Magazine. No sé si es que el canal pertenece también a algo ahí o algo, porque lo sube todo ahí. Vamos a ver la presentación, ¿vale? Esa culata no está pintada spray, ¿eh? Esa no. Mira. 2003. 2003, ¿por qué os digo? Lo que hemos estado hablando antes. Mira, bueno, lo dice en el título, 2003. Mira el basculante a bote pronto. Mira el motor. Que es que no...
Another dirt bike magazine YouTube video. I'm Charles from MXRevival, and I wanted to share this beautiful 03 KX250 with you guys. Fortunately for me, I've been able to crack out a bunch of bike builds for amazing people lately. Honestly, can't believe that that's what I get to do for a living. My friend Anthony from New York sent this bike down via moto shippers to my shop, and we got to work. It had really good bones. It did have a few missing bolts inside the engine, but it was a pleasure to crack into it and an awesome opportunity to rebuild this bike for him. So, like I mentioned, 2003 KX250.
La gente le manda las motos y las reconstruye. Yo lo hago también si queréis, ¿eh? Rafa, te voy a mandar mi cagua. ¿Cuánto me cobras? 4.000 euros. Piezas aparte. Y te la hago. Así o más o mejor.
50 was my first Kawasaki build, actually. I think it came out pretty good. I wasn't super
ya sé fincar los tornillos,
with the guts of it, the inside of the engine, for example, like I am with RMs, CRs, and YZs, but the KIPS exhaust valve system is a bit of a Rubik's Cube at first. Thankfully, it's got timing marks in it, and it's not too bad. Just like all the other bikes, it comes in, it gets framed. As we're framing it, we make a parts list, and then the first things that go out are always the hardware and the suspension, because they take the longest to get back. 6 to 8 weeks most of the time. The suspension on this bike is the first thing that you see. It kicks you right in the face. Came out so good. Weston Pike over at RG3 Factory in Boise actually.
Espera. Sé que te está gustando mucho este vídeo, lo estás disfrutando, lo sé. Pero estoy aquí para recordarte que lo que necesites de recambio, mándame un correo electrónico o escríbeme por Instagram y lo vamos a buscar al mejor precio posible. ¿Vale? Venga, sigue disfrutando del vídeo. 2003 que tenía un tono así como más cobre, digamos así, lo ha clavado el cabrón. Y tiene el tratamiento.
On the body, a beautiful Kashima look on the fork tubes up front. Got black fork caps on the top of the suspension. Just makes it look really robust, really beefy. I actually can't believe they were able to save these forks because they looked a little bit too far gone to me. They had a little bit of pitting. It was starting to form where after more time goes by, they start to flake like an old hot dog. The aluminum rot. As mentioned, when the suspension goes out, we get to work on all the hardware. So the linkage bolts, the engine hangers, the swing arm main pin, the axles, we start stripping the old zinc off of those with acid, get them prepped, and we replate all those. So you get the whole chassis looking honestly better than it ever looked.
Kawasaki, la dos tiempos, tiene un que tú lo ves y dices, joder. Potente, a mí me encanta, Es poderosa. Un silencioso de carbono.
Holding the rest of the chassis together to complement that, you can actually get some Bolt motorcycle hardware pro packs, engine fastener kits, and bodywork kits, and that's all the little fasteners that you wouldn't want to spend a customer's time or labor on, or their budget rather, to refinish. You can just replace those from Bolt. They actually just came out with, I believe I might have been able to test the first prototype KX two-stroke specific pro pack. It had all those things mentioned in it in one kit. That was pretty outstanding. Had a little bit of a hardship with the 2003 KX250 triple clamps. As you guys may remember, they came with 7/8 bars back in the day. There wasn't like a big bar craze like there is now, where they literally don't even make 7/8 bars for the most part when you buy a bike anymore. We creatively, with the help of Adrian at Ride Engineering, were able to get a set of KTM bar mounts onto this set of stock triple clamps. Thank God, because I was having a hard time keeping the stock height, not having to get risers, this and that sort of thing to get these bars where Anthony liked them. It's his favorite bend of Rentals.
Aquí no sé el presupuesto que habrá invertido el tío, pero ahí no ha escatimado, tío. Está todo canela.
KTM one-piece bar mount from Ride Engineering will fit your old KX triple clamps. So keep that in mind if you're doing a KX250 build, probably 125 as well. Dean over at Fast Blast handled the coating on the triple clamps. My direction on this bike was I would like an OE resto mod, but I also really love pro circuit bikes. So we have a lot of the OE looking, it's called alloy silver if you need this powder coating color on the swing arm, subframe, and main frame. Midnight bronze, which is like a darker
¿Qué piensa la RM del 98? Yo tengo una. Bueno, a mí es 97, pero 97 La para justo ahí. 97/98. Porque a la hora de buscar recambio, ojo, dentro del mismo año, te digo por si no lo sabes, creo que hay 4 modelos. Por ejemplo, el 97 no son todas iguales. ¿Vale? Está no me acuerdo las letras, la X, Y, tal. Son diferentes, ¿vale? Son diferentes. A priori tú las ves iguales, pero varían los amortiguadores, las suspensiones, internamente. Hay muchas cosas que no valen. ¿Vale? Entonces, la mía es 97. No recuerdo la letra, si era Z, tal, que ya trae el recambio de la 98. Tenlo en cuenta.
Have that also on the calipers, master cylinders, just all those areas where you want a little hint of color, make your bike look factory. Got a beautiful set of ARC controls on this thing. They're just amazing. They got the billet perches.
El silencioso de boot, si no lo es, parece clavado.
To be able to work with those guys. As far as the body goes, thankfully, you can still get these parts. Decal Works sent us brand new plastics, graphics in the Pro Circuit / OE Resto Mod vibe I was after. Seat cover, stand, and matching stand decals. So top to bottom, all the body work, all the decals, everything handled by Decal Works came out amazing. They have a perfect color match on the green too. Sometimes it's difficult to get the green in the decal or whatever color to match the base color of the plastic. So I'm really happy with the way that came out on this bike. Got a little bit of Lightspeed carbon fiber as far as body parts go. Also blown away that it was actually able to get some Lightspeed parts. We got frame guards, we got a rear disc guard and a rear caliper guard. So little factory touches, just like the ARC controls. Now when it came to refinishing these wheels, we actually stripped the wheels down to just the hubs, cut out all the old rusty corroded spokes, sent the hubs over to Dean at Fast Blast. He shot them in a really cool smoke gray color. Then I sent those hubs down to WUSA. They rebuilt spokes, nipples, and rims around these refinished hubs. Just perfect, super affordable. They look better than brand new, especially with the coatings. Wrapped those with some Dunlop MX34s. Hooked my man Anthony up with some elusive yellow Dunlop stickers for his tires. Another little factory touch.
Le faltan las tapas Voyesen. Le hubiera dado un toque, sí. También entendemos lo que ha dicho. Dice, me gano la vida con esto, ¿no? Básicamente ha dicho, dice, y se la mandaron para que lo hiciera. También entendemos que irá a gusto del dueño, ¿no? El dueño le habrá dicho esto y esto. Pero si unas tapitas Voyesen le hubieran dado un toque.
Cables, bearings, drive, sprockets, etc. All that stuff came from Rocky Mountain. All balls helped out with all the bearings in the chassis. I actually went ahead and used Anthony's stock rotors. I don't think you could find these anymore if you wanted to, but they really tied in the vibe of this bike to make it a little more period correct. So we vapor blast the rotors, and another cool part that Adrian over at Ride Engineering had come up with, it's got one of his badass billet calipers on it and stainless steel lines. So I actually did a YouTube video on that if you'd like to learn more, what it is, what it does, why you want billet over cast, potentially, how to install it, bleed it, etc. So when you have some free time, check that out. I think you'll like it a lot. Other than that, I got a 2-stroke pipe hack for you guys. When you are building a bike that I call a...
La verdad que le hubiera dado un toque aquí el Voyesen, pero está impresionante, ¿eh?
bastard year bike, for example, 03 KX250, 01 RM250, and you just can't find an exhaust for it. You try to go to whatever Pro Circuit, FMF, etc., and you can't find your year because they don't make it. Check out Bud Racing. They have all the bastard year pipes. So that 01 RM250, 03 KX250, they'll have your chamber, your head pipe. I almost can promise
Yo lo tuve.
you'll be able to get it as old as like 96 RM250s even. And they have this carbon fiber silencer. Really cool combo. You get the Pro Circuit look because it's raw. Really love that. That was important to Anthony, but I couldn't get him a PC pipe. Carbon silencer, very unique. It looks completely different from all the other ones. So nice to be able to get that solved for the bastard year bikes. Back to the engine, front of that exhaust system, we have it cooled by OEM radiators. Really cool to see bikes this old with OEM radiators. Brett at ICW caged them, braced them, seam welded them, straightened all the fins when it come back to...
Estos no son de aluminio, pues estos son los originales, pero esta soldadura, espera, voy a ver la de radiadores OEM, ¿lo ves? Dice, es realmente genial ver motos tan antiguas con radiadores originales. Los reforzó, vale, los enderezó de toda la letra. Vale, son los originales puesto al día.
Evans waterless coolant in this bike. Stuff is amazing. Doesn't boil over. There's no water in it. Leading into the engine, we've got one of Luke from Fathead Racing's custom billet cylinder heads. We tightened up the squish and the compression on this bike. It freaking barks. It feels so light and crispy at the throttle with that head on it versus bikes that say have more of a heavy and dead feel at the throttle. So you got to check him out when you get a chance. You can pop the internal domes out of it, change your squish, your volume, compression ratio, etc. Whole engine, of course, tear it down, vapor blast it, all new OEM OEM bearings in the crank and the trans. We've got more of Dean from Fast
Todo
Blast
nuevo,
Midnight Bronze.
transmisión,
We did the
movimiento,
whole
todo.
bottom end in black. So we got a vapor blasted top, black bottom end. This transmission went to cryo heat. So that's a process by which you can send your transmission out, especially these transmissions that are getting hard to find and you probably won't find. They will actually cryo treat the transmission, harden it to build more of a service life into it, and then micro polish it. So when it's done, the shift's really slick. The slickness of that reduces friction and heat, making it not only easier to shift, but potentially freeing up some horsepower. The crank was rebuilt with a brand new Pro X Japanese rod, so really easy to do. Don't throw your old crank in the garbage, just get it rebuilt. It'll come with all the bearings you need. That way, you don't need to buy the wrist pin bearing for your top end either. It'll have it in there, just buy your piston, and you'll already have the bearings from the rod kit. Again, cryo heat transmission, all new gaskets, all the Cerakote, Bolt motorcycle engine fastener kit in it. Just a nice, tight, clean engine. Everything runs so well on this bike. I'm so happy with it, especially like I said, for my first Cowie. We've got the original key in it, no aftermarket carburetors. Suckers jetted with the JD jetting kit. They're needles and jets, so probably another reason why it barks. And I really can't wait for Anthony to get this thing back. Now, one of the final parts on the engine, this is another two-stroke hack. If you guys are building, say, an 03 KX 250, and you can't get that intake flange that allows your carburetor to bolt onto your engine, a lot of the times those are rotted out. And guess what? Howie doesn't make them anymore. Check out Boyson, the rad
Vale, si tienes la tobera rota, digamos, ya está descatalogado y no lo vas a encontrar.
valve, because
Boyesen.
essentially the rad valve is the intake flange, so it's a way to get around those intake flanges you can't buy anymore. So again, check out Boyson. That is the way around that. Now, another really cool part that you guys can't actually see, another two-stroke hack. I've been working with Josh at 3DP Moto for several years now, and so whenever there's a little plastic flap or a brake line guide or a CDI sleeve that's no longer available from Cowie or any other brand,
Venga,
I come
no.
up on a good one, and in this case it was the wash flap under the seat on this bike. It's a flap that goes from the airbox over the tank so water and mud and stuff doesn't get in your airbox. Anthony's was good enough to reuse, so this has a custom 3D printed wash flap underneath the seat. It's just one of those things that you guys got to get on if you're doing a build like this and you want to have all the parts and you want to have all the parts fresh. You can't see it, like I said, but it ties up the build nicely. It's just something that's supposed to be there, and Josh has you covered. Same with the brake line guides, front and rear, super flexible. Get rid of those old brittle piece of crap plastic ones. One more thing in the engine that you guys can't see, Recluse clutch pack. It's got a torque drive clutch pack in it. One of the coolest clutch packs you can get. They come with more fibers and more steels. Seat of the pants, it's going to feel like more traction. The bike's going to hook up and engage better. It's going to modulate better, and they have one of the coolest little features in their clutches. Fingers on their fibers are a little bit smaller than a normal clutch or an OE copy.
La otra está guapísima. Dice, no parece ni que esté reconstruida. Está más que nueva.
Between the basket and the fibers themselves, and what that does is when the fibers are whacking away at the basket, it's hitting these sacrificial pieces of steel first. It's not going to notch your basket. So really cool feature, really great clutch, awesome to work with them. All right guys, that pretty much wraps up my 03 KX 250 build.
Muy guapa, sí señor, sí señor. Gente, ahora sí, nos despedimos. Os avisaré por el grupo y por Instagram y tal para ver la carrera, ¿vale? La final del Mundial de Super Motocross, y la veremos en Kick, ¿vale? Ok, si no tenéis Kick, Rafa, yo no tengo Kick, no puedo ponerla en otro sitio por los derechos de autor. Kick es un poquito más amigable, ¿vale? En ese sentido. Entonces, este es el canal. Claro que como ahora mismo estamos en directo, aquí, ¿lo veis? Estamos haciendo multi-stream, pero vamos, tú pones en Kick MXpasión y te sale. ¿Lo ves? Aquí estamos. Aquí estamos. Así que la veremos aquí, ¿vale? Gente, buenas noches a todos. Buen fin de semana. Mucho gas y a disfrutar.